Good evening. This is Troy Fullerton, and these are Facts on the Table. Some of the biggest perpetuators of misinformation can make themselves sound so scholarly and so knowledgeable that people who don't do their homework become their easy prey. Lately, it has become popular in the press and society to assume that the Jews were the Johnny-come-latelys to the land of Israel, to assume that they took it from the Palestinians and that the Palestinians had been there for hundreds of years, and therefore the Jews should just give up the land and leave. So do people have a point? Did the Jews just come in and take over the land, displacing its rightful owners? Is the Jewish presence in Israel a modern phenomenon? Are they simply interlopers who should never have been recognized in the first place and who ought to get out as soon as possible? Well, let's look at the historical account. First of all, Israel, also known as Palestine, was under Roman rule during the time of Christ, but the territory was, of course, still Jewish. It wasn't until after the Second Jewish Revolt that Rome attempted to just drive out all of the Jews from the area, but they never got the job done. There has been an uninterrupted Jewish presence in the land, and even despite Roman efforts of displacement, that uninterrupted presence continued. Now, the Jews did attempt a revolt during the time of Byzantine rule. This was from AD 351 to 352, and that revolt was unsuccessful, and Islamic rule lasted for 1,300 years, and so a case could be made that the territory was under Islamic rule at that time. However, we have to understand that during that time, Christians and Jews were both allowed to live in the territory. They were considered people of the book. And all during the time of Crusade rule, which lasted until AD 1187, there was a Jewish presence in Israel. It never was eradicated. Now, it was during Mamluk rule, which lasted until AD 1516, that Maimonides established a synagogue in Israel, and it's still there today. Then the large immigrations came. This was during Ottoman rule. This was before Great Britain, or America even for that matter, had any say in the matter. And I'm just saying that because another popular theory is that the Jews came only because of the supposedly illegal Balfour Declaration. This, I believe, is an even more important fact than the non-interrupted Jewish presence. Between 1881 and 1903, some 30,000 Jews immigrated, and between 1904 to 1914, another 40,000 Jews came. Now remember, the Palestinians, people that they call the Palestinians, were not in control of the land at this time. And this was before the Balfour Declaration. So the Jews were already there, and under Ottoman rule, all of these thousands and thousands of other Jews came before New York or London were even in the picture. There again, this is all before the Balfour Declaration of 1917, which, by the way, was approved by the League of Nations in 1922, and so it was not an illegal mandate by any means. By the time of the Balfour Declaration, the territory was legally in British hands, and it was theirs to govern and then to turn over. And they had already decided that it would be a Jewish homeland, and they finally turned it over to the Jews in 1948, which, by the way, has been quite some time ago. Now, this is just a brief thumbnail sketch, but I'm trying to show that the Jews never did just leave. Efforts were made to force them out, but they remained in the territory. And this is also to show that the Palestinians never were in control of the land to begin with. Finally, the Palestinians certainly were never just told to move over. The Jews had already been in the territory. So I hope you find this informative. I don't think that most people understand the real history of the Jewish people in Eretz Israel, and it's time somebody lays the facts on the table.